Good morning. I've been kind of sitting here waiting for Jim to come up. He takes the dogs out right before we do this each morning, and he's a little late. But I thought I'd begin since it's time. And just as we're waiting for him to count the Omer, as he always does, this the 18th day, the Chai day of counting the Omer. We are in the sensibility of Tiferet, of beauty. And, it's hard to sync all this with beauty. And that's why we have this balance of the other sensibilities as we go through. But this is important. And it's important even to take what is horrible and wrap it in something meaningful. So today is Yom HaZikaron. And I'm not sure if you haven't already seen the amazing ceremony put forth by Combatants for Peace and the bereaved families, both organizations comprised of Israelis and Palestinians who are speaking against the occupation and also speaking for peace. And they do it by remembering the children that they've lost, the Palestinian and the Israeli children that have been lost to, this ongoing conflict. And they do call very clearly for an end to the occupation. So that's also today. And if you haven't seen it, it's online. If you Google, I think, Combatants for Peace, it's really well done. It's quite beautiful. And it's how we mark these times. We remember the soldiers. We remember all of the young people that we've sacrificed to war, to violence, to our inability to get along and do the right thing and to compromise and to sacrifice for the other. And then it's also this day after this horrible threat to Roe v. Wade, threat to legal, safe, affordable, accessible healthcare for women, when it includes family planning and abortion and things that give women a choice, women and people with uteruses, the choice over their own bodies. So we honor that today as we move forward, praying that as we study these texts together, as we count the Omer and try to make every day count, that we move forward in ways that, really honor those that have gone before, who have sacrificed. I think about all of the people 50 years ago that fought for so many years for the right to choose, the right to autonomy over one's own body, and we don't want to have to do this again. But it looks like we do. As Jews, just to be clear, as we're waiting again for Jim, as Jews, abortion is a viable choice to save the life of a mother, and it could be her emotional well-being as well as her physical well-being. Jewish tradition is very clear that sometimes you have to have an abortion, and I have had to sit with people who would have sacrificed their own lives for the baby that they were carrying, but because that fetus was threatening their lives, they had to either give birth early or terminate a pregnancy, again, to save their own lives. And I have been able to say to them, Jewish tradition says you must do this. And it gives them permission to do a very difficult thing. So here's Jim. I'm going to turn that off so you don't have to hear it. So that's my little introduction to this 18th day, May 4th, 2022. It's a Wednesday here, but it is the 18th day of the counting of the Omer as we move through the month of Iyar and move through this week of Tiferet, with all the challenges before us. You ready?
Okay.
I started without you. That was you saying, "Where's the man?" You were late, so we started. All right. Hello, everyone. Okay, here we go. And I originally thought we were starting chapter 5 today, but we really have to finish chapter 4. Let's do that. We'll finish chapter 4 because we didn't really get to the end of chapter 4 yesterday in a powerful way. So,
בערב נא אדוני אלוהינו לדברי תורתך בפינו ובפי עמך בית ישראל ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל. כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני מלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. Amen. Oh God, make the words of your teachings pleasant on the lips of all of those that come into our circle, come onto our screens, so we can spend a time in learning for the pleasure of it. Blessed are you who teaches in this fashion. Amen. Okay.
yeah. You gotta. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Well, do your counting. It's day 18. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Don't be distracted. Don't be
Hello,
distracted.
Alyssa. Hello, Susan. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Larry.
And that's just the people we know who are there.
Right.
I've been hearing from people all over the country who have been.
Oh, I don't believe.
I'm telling you, I heard from a
Okay.
really sweetheart
Okay.
last night. Tender person who said he watches every day, and not always in the morning, but when he can, and that it's a reaching out. It feels like we're reaching out to him.
Says
So I feel
I'm a real sweetheart. Counting, we're in the third week.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the third week of the counting, where today is the week is Netzach of Tiferet. Excuse me. The week is given over to Tiferet, to beauty, this synthesizing pole, the middle pole of beauty. We started the first week in Chesed with love, pure giving, all yes. We balanced that with Gevura the next week, restraint. Sometimes love is a no as well as a yes. And then we synthesized that in the middle pole this week with Tiferet. Keats, we're listening. Tiferet, beauty. So, and today, the particular energy within the week of beauty today is Netzach. Netzach, the sense of confidence and kind of a long look, the long look, Netzach. That confidence you are feeling, soon there will be a correction. You may not feel so confident. Beyond that, there is the tree, Tiferet. Beauty, you are of it and in it. Tiferet, beauty, the beauty all around, within that tree too, beauty. Chesed, love, gevura, restraint. Tiferet, beauty, the synthesizing pole. Netzach, you think you know. Hod, you don't. Yesod, foundation in the body. And then Malchut, the spigot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishem b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu asfirat ha'omer. Hayom 18 שהם שני שבועות ו4 ימים לעומר. Today is bless thee. Today is day 18 of the Omer, which is 2 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. Bless our president, our vice president, and all their noble retinue. Dr. M teaches the Omer, almost all your certainty is misplaced. Fountain, its origins toward love, chesed, loving kindness overflowing, bordered by gevura, restraint, lifted and balanced into tiferet, beauty, with netzach, a renewal of confidence, second pass, you think you know, you don't know. hold on speaks hold, settling into synthesis, Yesod in your body. With Malchut, the spigot is yours. Open, not open.
Well,
Oops, excuse me.
today, the end of chapter 4 certainly opens the spigot.
The
The
spigot.
spigot is open today.
Hello, Rebecca.
The spigot
The
is definitely
spigot.
open today because, I mean, this is the ultimate garden poem, this ending of chapter 4. This is the poem where she is the garden. She's the garden, and it is watered, you know. The
You
love
think
is the
this is
water.
the end of the poem or the beginning of a poem?
Yeah, well, it is definitely something
Mhm.
unique to itself here at the end of chapter 4. So we'll take it from verse 12 all the way to the end,
Okay.
16 of what's called chapter 4. And you know, I think we're starting to realize that it's kind of arbitrary the way these chapters were
Yeah,
counted, but you know, they're working for us.
they're working. Okay.
So gun, here's the gun.
Gana'u.
The garden shut.
Na'achuti kala.
I don't think it means she's shut up. I think she's enclosed. She is the garden. It's enclosed in her. She's the garden, right?
Yeah.
Enclosed and hidden. You are a garden.
Okay.
You are a still pool, a fountain. Right?
Yeah, you know, I have a feeling about this Achuti kala.
Yeah. What?
My sister, my bride. My
Yeah.
sister bride.
My sister.
My
bride.
sister bride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be in a later emendation that my sister is a little confusing. Bride is added at a later time to clarify this. My sister.
Maybe.
My sister bride.
Hello.
It's bride.
Maybe. Does anybody say that? Is that just you?
I'm sure somebody says it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of obvious, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, okay, so she's you know, not she's modest. There's a modesty here, maybe.
But you know, we encounter that a lot in our book. This
Sister bride.
no, the sense of
Sister
something that's added to.
Oh yeah.
To
Okay, something that's added.
Yeah, to
I mean,
define something.
I think that's what's so beautiful here. We have layer upon layer upon layer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gives us permission to read different layers, right, into this text and find meaning ourselves, maybe.
You don't need permission.
Okay.
The
garden enclosed was my sister, my bride.
Also, na'alayim, it gives us
Shoes.
sandals or shoes. Gana'u lachoti kala gal. A gal, I think, is a mistake. I think it should be gan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gana'u. I think it's a repetition. Gana'u.
I don't know. That's kind of poetic.
Mayan.
The garden is enclosed. The spring is enclosed. You know, the notion of an enclosed spring is very powerful. Remember that spring on the way from Spot to where I was digging in Meron?
Yeah.
There was you could walk halfway. And there was this spring along the side of the road, and you know it was an ancient spring, and it was a spring that people stopped at and nourished themselves at. And it was enclosed. It was enclosed. If you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't be able to find it. But somehow we found it, and it was really a lifesaver. But you had to know it was there. It was enclosed.
Yeah, you know? That's right.
And it was ancient. I mean, at least, I mean, it was probably the same age as the kind of the synagogue church we were digging right there at Gush Chalav, which was right there off the road. I didn't even know it at the time, but probably maybe 2nd century, at very least. Of course, the spring is older, but the enclosure was ancient too. So maybe
Mayan Khatun, a fountain.
Yeah, the fountain is sealed. What does that mean? The fountain is sealed. You know, it's not available to him yet.
Yeah, but it's precious. It's precious and
Mm-hmm.
it's
It is.
closed up. It's opening though. It's opening.
A little bit. Sometimes gotta be wooed though. It doesn't just open on its own. You gotta woo it.
Hello. Shelachayich pardes rimonim. Pardes. We love this
Oh,
word.
I love this. This is beautiful. See, that's why it's suggesting that there are levels here, right? The pardes, the levels of that it takes to enter into paradise.
There's a lot of interesting language in this part we're reading here.
Rimonim, the pomegranates, that's clearly rimonim, right?
Yeah, pardes is a word that's probably a borrowed word.
Persian.
It doesn't appear
roots.
that much in the Tanakh itself.
Right.
Maybe 3 times. We have it in Nehemiah. We have it in Ecclesiastes. We have it here. So maybe it's like a tris, a gamanan. Anyway, the pardes, a borrowed word. Our ancestors are always curious. Where does this word come from?
Mm-hmm.
It has 4 strong consonants. It has this final samach. That's a clue. And
Don't we normally say that it's Persian, a Persian root, and it gives us the word paradise?
yeah, well, it has to come a long distance from that
Mm-hmm.
to get to paradise, but it does. It
And
comes through
course,
Greek and Latin, and
gives us the 4 levels of Torah study too.
it's like a medieval entry into that. So, but it's clearly borrowed, and there's a lot of interesting borrowed words in these few verses that we're reading that we'll see. So, pardes, yeah, many of our linguists assume pardes comes from the Persian originally, but impri migadim, really special kinds of migadim, special kinds of fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Really delightful ones. Kefarim, like the fruits, im niradim.
What's that?
That we had that before, nerd.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some sort of spice. Nerd,
So why do you think it's translated as henna here, this kafar?
Well, we have
kafarim.
In the next verse, 14, is nerd, where the word comes from. Nerd, the karkos. Karkos is a really interesting word.
Cinnamon, no?
No, that's kinamon.
Oh,
that's
cinnamon.
coming.
Oh, that's the next one, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But nerd is a little, a little unusual.
Nard oil.
Karkom is really unusual. Karkom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the saffron, did you say saffron?
Mm-hmm.
Saffron is derived from this word, karkom.
In Arabic, the word means yellow.
We have to talk about this word a second.
Saffron?
Yeah, this karkom.
Okay. Again, I don't think these are things, I think these are, exotic spices that have been imported, no?
And again, I think this is a hapax legomenon. I don't think it's used anywhere else.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we get the word crocus from it.
Mm.
Crocus is a particular kind of a source of yellow dye in Roman times.
Mm-hmm.
So the word became a denominative, it's called, which means there was a verb that was derived from the noun to grow pale that was used.
Mm-hmm.
But karkom in Arabic is kurkum, and it comes Latin from the Greek and from a Semitic origin, and there's a suspicion that the Semitic origin may be from a Sanskrit origin, or the Sanskrit may have come from the Hebrew, but there seems to be a cognate in Sanskrit, kunkumam.
Wow.
It produces saffron. It's the coloring matter of turmeric.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So curcuma becomes a genus name for plants of like ginger family, from which turmeric was drawn. In a medieval Latin, from Arabic curcum comes saffron and turmeric. Turmeric is derived from this too.
Yeah, it's so interesting how all of these plants are healing plants. They're used as herbs to also bring.
Yeah. And it might be a corruption, turmeric might be a corruption of curcum. It becomes and saffron. And
So in this,
we assume it may have what we sometimes assume to be what could be the connection of Proto-Indo-European root that we don't have examples of, but we have theoretical.
so what's the point of
Implication.
why spices? Why these healing spices? Why not flowers? If what's the point? The point is about healing, about deepening, about the pardes. I mean, it could have been trees, it could have been bushes, it could have been flowers, but no, it's these spices.
Yeah, these are spices and remedies.
And remedies, right? Remedies, ancient remedies.
And these are medicinals.
Mm-hmm. So what's that? What is that in this?
Canez is a sweet-smelling reed. I don't know if that's a medicinal. Cinnamon becomes cinnamon.
Cinnamon certainly is.
That's probably a loan word too.
Myrrh, aloe.
And then this is a curious
Rocher
word.
is
Atse levana. We've had this before.
Right.
We assume that's some maybe frankincense. More myrrh and ahalot. Now this is curious here. We get aloe from this. It's some sort of odoriferous tree, and this also may be a loan word from Sanskrit. So there's interesting cognates here with Sanskrit.
Wow. That's amazing.
There's
aguru
or agaru in Sanskrit. It comes.
You remember those spice gardens in India? They literally have spice gardens in India. You go to these spice gardens and you get a tour of all of because they only grow at a certain altitude, right? And you go and you and then at the end, of course, it's kind of, but you get these little tinctures of the spices.
Yeah.
It's the only place I've ever seen that.
Also this aloe may be in the Oxford English Dictionary, aloe is cited as a word that was probably derived from its sound resemblance to Hebrew, to this word. Ahalot, aloe.
Aloe. Really?
Who knows? With all other kinds of the major spices. That's
Do you
an
see
interesting.
what he says? He says that it comes by way of a tent, an ohel. It is important because it's imported by the Bedouin, the tent dwellers, and that's where the aloe comes from, the ohel, the tent. That's a fabulous image. I love that because we are all about the opening of the tent, and what opens the tent? These fragrances. It's like what opens the heavens is the ketoret, and here we end with the word of besamim, right? Spices that we use on Havdalah, right?
Mayan ganim be'er mayim chayim. Fountain of gardens. You want to go here?
Yeah.
A fountain of gardens, a well of mayim chayim, living waters.
I mean, that's a session in itself, just to talk about mayim chayim, right?
Venozlim in Lebanon, that flows from Lebanon.
And we talked about that yesterday, how the Mount Hermon, it flows from Lebanon and flows from the north. The waters that accumulate at the top of Lebanon become the River Jordan.
Uri Tzafon. We go here?
But Yared, the Jordan gets its word from Yared.
Uri Tzafon Uvoi Teman. Wake up north and come south. Chavichi Gani. Blow upon my garden, Yizlu Besamav, that the spices may flow. Yavododi.
Wow.
Come, my beloved, Ligano.
Yavododi. Let my beloved come into his garden. She's the garden. She is the garden.
And eat of the.
Oh boy, I can't.
Precious.
Come on,
the
are you
sweet
kidding
fruits,
me?
okay?
This pretty pretty spicy, huh?
It's a good thing we
How
don't do
about
this late at night.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You wouldn't get to sleep.
I'm telling you. So
All right.
isn't that beautiful? How beautiful is that?
It's a good one.
It let's see, the Marsha Falk ends this whole chapter with feast, drink, and drink deeply, lovers. Feast, drink, and drink deeply, lovers. So many levels of lovely in this ending to. Oops, I don't know what that is. This ending to. Oops, I hope we're still here. This ending to chapter 4. It really is kind of a climax of the whole journey we've been on up until now, where it's very clear that this is about lovers and the mirror of nature, that there is nothing more sensuous and lovely and real and beautiful than nature, than stuff we have not made, the stuff we just get out of the way of. We're just out of the way. We get out of the way, and there it is. That spring that comes up. The sense of the spices, the healing nature of love. So let's offer a Mishaberach, drawing upon the myrrh and the frankincense and the cinnamon, the cinnamon and the turmeric.
Fruit and nefesh, fruit and good. For the healing of the spirit and the healing of the body. For those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael. On my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, Uriel. Behind me, Raphael, and above my head, 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 above my head. Shekhinah. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, great healer. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope everyone has a good, meaningful Chai, 18th day of the counting of the Omer. Again, it's also Yom HaZikaron, and a very meaningful way I found was watching the tekes, the ceremony of combatants for peace and the bereaved parents of both Israelis and Palestinians that were marking this day by honoring those we've lost, all of those we've lost that we've sacrificed to this terrible war, and with prayers for going forward with love. So have a great day, and we will be back tomorrow morning as we begin chapter 5 on day 19, counting the Omer. Thanks for joining us.